Hey guys, it's Tahera Rene from Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you about it. It's free, first of all. We like free. And it's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast all in one place. But right now you got to go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do it now. Go. What's up, everybody? It's Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. I am so excited to come to you with another episode circling around relationships. Obviously, right now, relationships are either really struggling or are very good, depending on the status of your relationship before we all went under quarantine, of course. And this becoming the new normal, it is super important to put processes in place in order to balance all of the relationships that you have. Now, there are families that are quarantined together. There are exes quarantined together. Boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, homies. You may have a slew of people sleeping on your couch because they had nowhere to go. I mean, whatever your circumstance and situation was before the quarantine. And of course, now there are a lot of, precautions that you want to take in order to ensure that you have a lot of people available to support you during this time. And there are, of course, some people who are quarantining all by themselves. That can be a very devastating and disheartening situation as well, because loneliness can set in. There are people who had mental issues, who are taking medications for anxiety or depression or other sorts of mental ailments that now being forced to be indoors most of the day can be very taxing on you mentally and emotionally. And so I just want to kind of talk about that and kind of give you guys some tips and tools to kind of managing your relationships during this very unprecedented time. So husbands and wives, wives and wives, husbands and husbands, whatever your relationship status is, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever you are, if you're at home alone with your mate and you're having a difficult time. So we definitely want to make sure that we're talking about how these entities interact with each other when in such close quarters. One thing my husband does for me every day, because I am a crazy person and I work night and day, even if I'm not getting paid, I'm constantly keeping myself busy because a genius mind is the devil's workshop when it is unmanned and unmotivated toward a goal. So I am always goal setting, always moving and shaking and doing things so that I am just not going into outer space with my thoughts. I'm able to bring it back home and recenter myself. So my walks have been amazing for me, just to get out in an uncrowded area where I can see the sky, and the sky is so blue right now because of the lack of pollutants in the air. I hope we continue this quarantine thing forever. But anyhow, and that's been a really big help for me. And when I wake up, I meditate, I take some time to myself, how you doing? And just take care of myself. I make myself either a smoothie or some green juice, and I exercise and just take care of myself. So that's like 2 hours of my morning, regardless. Even no matter how much I have to do or want to do of other things, I take care of myself first, and I take breaks. I have a 5-year-old running around the house that reminds me to take breaks because, before quarantine, obviously I could just work. But now I've got little bodies to entertain and keep educated and other things to do. So it is a nice reminder. And sometimes if you have a Fitbit or a tracking device, it'll remind you to stand up and move around if you've been sitting for too many hours. But it's a way to keep your brain going and self-care. So that way you're not annoying the crap out of your partner. Please, please, please. If you're booed up with someone, whether you've been with them for 1 year or 10 years or 6 months, give them space. Give them the go ahead to take time for themselves, even if they don't know to do it for themselves, because if you care about that person, you give them this space to breathe without you. Now, granted, of course, you still want to have your date nights. There was a point where I wore workout clothes for 7 days straight. I was like, I probably should put on some eyebrows, maybe some lipstick. I don't know. Heels, maybe not, but I did dress up. I put on earrings. I haven't put on earrings in 2 weeks. I was like, wow, you're cute. Okay, you should wear earrings more often. Just because I haven't had to, I haven't thought about it. Spruce yourself up. Take a shower. Wear deodorant and lotion. I know it's not necessary, but it is. Just for your own self-esteem and your outlook on life. And of course, so your partner has something to look at, so he's not on them free subscriptions of Pornhub looking at girls who are dolled up and made up and dressed up, etc. That's just my advice. And of course, eat dinner together. Eat breakfast together if you can. Eat together as a couple. Eat together as a family. The other advice, of course, if you have a family, is to take time out and have fun with your kids. They are so frustrated. My family, for example, they're super laid back people normally. They're introverted normally. They're fine with alone time normally. But I have to pull my kids out of their rooms in order to engage them. Otherwise, they're like roommates. I would never see them except for my 5-year-old, because she is going to get her attention all day, every day. But my teenagers, they're pretty much doing their own thing. But mental health issues can kick in, even if they're not bothering you, quote unquote. That's not a good sign. You need them to need you. They are dependents after all. They depend upon you to keep them excited and keep them motivated and keep them happy and healthy. And so come up with fun family games, board games, do puzzles. We had some chalk. We did some ground murals and played hopscotch. And I was teaching them how to play the 1980s version, because these new school games is off the chain. I was like, you guys got to go back to the old school. Where your rock? I need you to go to the rock, throw your rock, and let's hopscotch like some girls back in the day. Jump rope. We've had Just Dance battles. We decorated eggs during Easter. That was really fun. We just got a pool so that we can all go in the backyard. It's a kiddie pool, but it's fun. It's something different, something to break up in the monotony. And I tried to buy a trampoline, but the damn trampolines are all back ordered because everybody else thought, oh, let me get a trampoline for these kids. So anyhow, whatever you can think of in order to make this time for your kids fun, give them 3 solid activities a day and incorporate various things to keep them excited. We can only bake so many cakes, because believe me, there was a point where we baked 4 cakes in 4 days, and my waistline is not happy about it, and my freezer is full. So please do something fun with your kids. Have them draw, have them roller skate or bike somewhere, walk somewhere, do aerobics with you, whatever it is to keep them engaged and keep them happy. We did a family photo shoot where we got decked out in all the jewelry I had and all my clothes, and we just, shot funny pictures. It's fun and it keeps them excited. So engage your family, but also give them space. Spend time together, loving on one another, and reassure them that while these times are very uncertain for everybody, we're all involved in this, that everything's going to be okay. And this is where your faith can kick in. If you're a believer, or even if you're not a believer in one particular doctrine, please understand that the universe will correct itself. It's kind of what the universe has done for its entire existence. Before you were born, before I was born, it has always reset itself to its proper state. And that's what the universe is doing right now, is resetting, because we've done too much. We've done too much to her, and she wants things to be righted again. So take this time to reset yourself as well. Love your neighbor virtually. Love your family in pockets so they're not overwhelmed by you. And love yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. God bless.